Realist gang, I am back with another video, and in today's video I have another word for y'all. And today's word is, this is for the people who have backslid within the past few months and came back to God. This was not only a word for myself, but it was a word that God told me to put out for others as well. Basically, the word is, the promises are still due. The promises that God has made to you are still coming to pass. They're still here. It is not gone. Just because you have fallen short of the glory of God, it doesn't mean that whatever He has promised you is not going to come to pass. Okay, guys? And the way that I got this word was basically through the study prayers and the conversations I have had with God. And basically, when I was coming back to Him, I previously told y'all my story, long story short type of thing, that I had backslidden and I came back to the world and I wanted people's validations and, things of the world. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't doing the righteous thing. Like, I wasn't following God's righteous path. I had slid from that. I had slid away from Him. Then I came back and I just felt this guiltiness. I just felt shame. I just felt like, dang, like I don't deserve God. I don't deserve nothing God has for me. I don't deserve nothing. The promises that He made me are probably not even gonna come about, and things of that nature. The devil putting stuff in my ear for me to get away more further from God than what I already was. And I've had a journey with God, and it's been a very beautiful journey. When I came back, He told me, I'm not a God just of hell or just of this or of that. Like, I'm a God who's here for you, who's gonna love you, who's gonna be just like your father. Because I never had a father, so He was just telling me all of this. He was just giving me examples like my mom, the many times that she has came through for my brothers, even though they have disrespected her or things of that nature, she still loved them with all her heart. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly how God is. He just wants to give us instructions and how to walk, because God's understanding is way beyond our understanding. And He already knew that you were going to make mistakes. He already knew that you were bound to fall into sin, into temptations, because you're just a human. You can't be perfect at all. And that's what I'm learning coming back to God, is that I could never be perfect like I thought I was. Because another thing that He pointed out to me is that when I was in the righteous path, I thought I had to do everything perfect. Yes, I had to be righteous, but I just felt like this fear of not being perfect in His eyes. You get what I'm saying? And now it's like, now that I'm coming back, He's showing me that I'm not supposed to be perfect. I'm not supposed to be this perfectionist that I'm thinking like, oh, I shouldn't do this, oh, I shouldn't do that. Because sometimes we'll unwillingly sin. You get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we'll think about something and then we catch it and we're just like, oh shoot, like I didn't mean to think like that. Or we just say something and we're just like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to say that like the way that I did, or say that in general. So we'll never reach that perfection, y'all. And that's what God has been pointing out to me with me coming back to Him. He's been pointing out that yes, He is a God who wants you to do right, and He wants you to enter the kingdom of heaven. But He's not this God that's going to be like, hell this, hell that. Yes, at the end of the day, you're gonna face His judgment, whether it's good or bad. He doesn't want you to fear Him in that sense. He doesn't want you to further yourself away from Him. Just because you have done this, just because you have done that, just because you feel as though you haven't reached that perfection that I felt like I couldn't reach. You get what I'm saying? Like, I understand you guys. We just have this need or have this feeling to be just like Christ. But Christ is an example for us. to strive to be good, not to be perfect. To be good is to serve God's kingdom, to go out here and preach the word, to, pray and spend time with God and all of that. To be perfect is to be sinless. And we're not sinless, y'all. We literally come on earth and God says that you were born a sinner. Okay, guys? So we have to understand that you're never going to be perfect. And don't bash yourself. Don't belittle yourself. Don't do any of that just because you have fallen short or you have backslid or any of that. Know that your promises still stand if you turn your ways and come back to God. And that's the thing. You can't just be like, oh yeah, like I love God, this, that, and the third, and I don't like what I'm doing, and you're not changing it. You have to change it in order to get whatever it is that He has promised you, or have that relationship with Him, or those type of things. Because honestly, I forgot about the promises. I just wanted God's presence. Because when I was in the world again, I was just feeling so much anxiety, just feeling so much fear, like just the fear of death, just thinking like, I'm not even right with God and I'm doing all of this. Actually, there was a point and a time when I was in a relationship, not only in a relationship with this world, but in a romantic relationship. And I was like, this is my fate, like, because this person just wouldn't, let me be. You get what I'm saying? Like, every time I would be like, I want to grow. I want to just, spend more time with God and all of that. This person would just be like, oh, that's a lie. Like, couples go through things, this, that, and the third, just gaslighting me in that sense. And this is what these people will do. They'll, tell you no, this, no, that. They'll tell you what to do so you don't reach God's potential for you. And this is another reason why God is saying, don't bash yourself. Don't do any of that, because everything is a learning experience. Evil will be used for good. In my case, I learned a lot within that relationship. Basically, what God is saying is that He wants to bless you. You haven't gotten those blessings. You haven't received anything from Him. You might have received counterfeit things that didn't last for a long time, but He wants to give you more. He wants something for you that is going to last, whether that be a relationship, friendship, a car, whatever. He wants to give you the best of the best, but you have to come back to Him humbly and wholeheartedly, and you have to leave and sacrifice all the things of the world and leave them behind. I've been seeing this number 323 a lot, especially when I came back to God. I've been seeing this and I'm just like, what is it? And then yesterday I searched up 3.23 Bible verse, and the verse that God gave me is Romans 3:23. It says, for everyone has sinned. We all fall short of God's glorious standard. Basically, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Okay, guys? We all have fallen short. We all have sinned. We all have been rebellious at times. We've all done things that weren't pleasing in the sight of God. But just know that you have had a relationship with God. And He wants you to come back, because He recognizes the efforts and the works that you put in when you were in a relationship with Him. You were preaching to people. You were wholeheartedly trying to change people and their views and their hearts, and just letting them know that God is the way of life. You were doing His job. But then, in the midst of it, you probably felt lonely. You probably felt like, where's the promises? You probably felt desperate. You probably felt all these things that made you want to get out of this overwhelming spiritual battle, in a sense, because that's how you felt. Like, it was overwhelming, and that the spiritual battle was too much. The spiritual warfare was too much on you. So you decided to just go back into the world to ease your pain, to ease your suffering, to ease those things. And you probably started using drugs, you probably started drinking alcohol, you probably started smoking, whatever. But God wants to let you know the devil is a liar. He just wants to take the things from you. This is why he places things and people in your way when you're in that vulnerable state. Because he knows that if he gets you mentally, he can get you physically. And when he gets you to physically do things, then that's when you're going to start feeling that guilt, that shame, that regret, all those negative things, that anxiety. And why do I tell y'all this? Because I went through it. And God wants me to be vulnerable with y'all and tell y'all that no one is perfect. Even the most smartest person, even the celebrities that we worship or we look up to, they're not perfect. But like I'm saying, the devil always places things and people in order to get you out of that narrow path, because you're like this, right? And then he places something and then you get distracted and then you go like this. And then your path is just like all squiggly when it's supposed to be a straight, narrow path like God says. And I just want you to know that it's never too late. Meanwhile, you're alive. Get right with God so he can bless you. God is not a God that's going to have you fearing him. Yes, he says fear him. But he's not going to have you fearing like the devil will have you fearing. Like the devil will have you fearing death. Like anything could happen at any second. Like you'll be paranoid. You'll be anxious, bashing yourself. You'll be all of these negative things. But when you fear God, that's when wisdom comes. And wisdom is a mindset. So then he blesses you within that mindset. And you get riches. It doesn't have to be materialistic necessarily. But he'll bless you with riches like joy, peace, tranquility. And it goes beyond that. Like within the materialistics, he'll give you businesses. He'll give you land. He'll give you all of that. But you have to choose him. Because one thing that I notice is when you choose the devil, right? And you get his promises or whatever, you get it through him. This will only last for a while. Things will keep happening. An example would be a car, right? The devil will give you a car. He'll bless you with a car. But you're going to notice that you're going to keep getting tickets. You're going to keep getting flat tires, or you're going to have to keep changing your battery, and your mileages will just be out of the roof. Like, and you only drove this much, but your mileages is saying this much. Like, it'll have you spending money so much to the point where your savings is gone. It's gone. But if God blesses you with a car, that car is going to last you for so long. Yes, things might happen here and there. You might have to get re-provisions and fixes on it. But it's not going to be like, oh, this every day, oh, this every week. I've seen it firsthand, y'all. I've seen the devil blessing many people. And these blessings never lasted because of the fact that they got it in the wrong source. Because they weren't in God's presence. So of course, bad things were going to happen. So that's basically what I'm saying. Like, either way it goes, you will get blessed. But you have to choose the blessing. Something that will benefit you in a sense. Like, is this blessing from the devil going to benefit you? Especially if you have a big family, things of that nature. Because this blessing from the devil is not going to last that long, to the point where you going to have to go here, go there, go here, go there, go here, go there. It's just going to be a pile, a plague of things that you need to fix within this car. Like, it's just not going to work out for you in that sense. Like, it's not going to be a blessing. Like, it's going to be a blessing and a curse. That's what I'm hearing right now. Like, It's going to be a blessing at the fact that you have it, but it's going to be a curse at the fact that you need to fix so many things. You need to spend so much money. You have to, rely on others and things of that nature. But God's blessing is just smooth as can be. And this is why sometimes you have to wait long. And I understand, y'all. Sometimes the waiting process isn't something that we would want within our walk, because we want things quick, we want things fast. But it's a reason and a season for things. There's a time to cry, there's a time to laugh, there's a time for everything under the sun, God says. There's a time for everything, y'all. And maybe your time wasn't before, but what I'm hearing is your time is now. Do y'all feel the shift that is happening within this month? I feel it. I don't know, but I feel it. And what I'm hearing is, I feel it coming by, what's his name? The Weeknd, that song. I feel it coming. I feel it coming. Yeah, that song. I don't know. I just feel like the shift. And it's Nissan month, I hear. And this is the month of God where Pharaoh let the captives go. Pharaoh let the Israelites go, because the Israelites were in bondage and slavage. That's basically how it was for us, for the backsliders. We were in bondage, we were enslaved within the world and the things of the world. But we had to look up to God. We have to look up to God and sacrifice and trust him and know that he is God, and he will do all the impossible that we think he might not do. I understand when you're in that waiting process, you get desperate, you get worried, you kind of get this fear and you get this anxiousness because you don't know when it's going to come or how it's going to come about, and it's not in your control and things of that nature. And what God is saying is let go and let God. Let go and let God, because at this point in time, like I said, when we follow our own understanding, what happens? It's just a disappointment all the time. This is why we have to pray and stay in the presence of God, because he will direct us with many things that we're struggling with, that we want, that, we need, and things of that nature. He will tell us, do this, do that. And he might not tell you tomorrow or the next day or the next week, but he gonna tell you, because whenever it's his time, it's his time. And you better believe that his time is always perfect. And you gonna look back and you gonna be like, oh, now I understand, because he says it. You might not understand now, but you'll understand later on. You don't understand what he's doing now, but you're going to understand soon. Why are you going to understand soon? Because the blessing is coming to y'all. The blessing is here. I already feel it. I already feel my blessings just pouring down on me. Like, I don't know what it is. If it's because it's God's month, it's God's time right now, or I don't know, but it's definitely a shift. And I'm not just saying it to say it. I have never felt like this. I've never felt like this. And I know that God is going to bless you. So those who are in fear, who are like, you know what, I don't deserve God, I don't, this, that, and the third, just, not making excuses per se, but just feeling all these things and saying all these things to yourself and beating yourself up in that sense, just stop. Just stop and come to God already. You're wasting your time. Oh, Lord, I said something right there. You're wasting your time thinking that God is not going to accept you again. Because what did God do for the prodigal son, right? He left. He wanted to do whatever he had with that money that he gained or whatever. He bought a horse, he did this and did that. And things happened to him. Something happened to him. And he came back to his father. And his father accepted him, even though he didn't listen, even though he somewhat, in a sense, rebelled. His father accepted him. And that's how God is towards his children. God knew that you were not going to be perfect. God knew what was to come that day that you backslid, because he sees everything beforehand, before us, before we do the act, before we do or say whatever. He knew that you were going to do that. But he still loves you. And he still wants you to be blessed. Okay? I seen something. It was a video on TikTok, and it was like, you're not powerful enough to break God's promises, or something along those lines. Like, you're not powerful enough to make him change his mind on your life. And it's true. Whatever we do, like, as we could see, we always come back to him. We always come back to him. Because it's that nudging in the heart. It's that nudging that he's like, nope, 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 nope. You're mine. You're mine. And I know y'all have felt that. He has been nudging at your heart. It's for a reason. It's not for you to be like, oh, I don't deserve God. It's none of that. It's for you to come back. And like I'm always saying, you are the generational curse breaker. We have a mission. We're on a mission. We can't be, thinking those things and feeling those things all the time. Like, yes, it's valid because, you backslid. You don't feel like you deserve him or anything that he wants to bless you with. But we are on a mission to change the things within our bloodline. We are on a mission. We are on a mission here, y'all. He has chosen you to change your family, to change your friends' views, to change people's views. He has chosen you for this purpose. It's bigger than you. And this is why you can't be thinking like, oh, God is going to be mad at me. Oh, me. Because it's bigger than you. You have a mission to accomplish. You have people to help within your family, within your community, within wherever God leads you to. It's bigger than you, y'all. Understand that. I have said this many times within my videos. It's bigger than us and our feelings. This is why we can't be in a stagnant place like, oh, God hates me. Oh, he just wants you to come back humbly and wholeheartedly. So then he could start doing that work in you. So then you could start doing that work within the kingdom. And then it just goes from there smoothly. And is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be easy? No. Because he has never promised that. Where in the Bible has he promised that? You get what I'm saying? So that's all I have, y'all. And like I always say, pray, go to God, and spend time with him, because us prophets, we're just here with a word or whatever the case may be. And like I always say, stay real, be real, because once you are the realest, you cannot go back to the lies. So I'm going to catch y'all until next time.